Welcome to Backyard Bows. Hey, welcome to Backyard Bows. I'm Brandon, and today I don't think I have been this excited to do a bow review yet. I think ever since I first saw the McPhearson Monster Safari on the website, I think it has piqued my interest more than any other bow. Maybe just for the fact that I never had enough money to buy and kept thinking like, man, I'll probably never get my hands on one of these. Most bow shops don't carry one for you to even sample in a shop, so it's hard to even get your hands on one unless you purchase one directly through Mathews. And that's what we finally did. I couldn't take it anymore. It's, you know, doing all these reviews, it's just something that I've been so interested in for forever. So right when I got my hands on it, it did not disappoint. This thing is as solid as you can get. The craftsmanship that is in the detail of this is incredible. This honeycomb riser and the kind of the honeycomb ABS cam systems they have on here. Man, this thing is incredible. And it's a little bit different than I thought. So when you're looking at a picture online, you really don't truly understand, you know, the feel of a bow, but it's a little bit heavier at 4.8 pounds and it's bulky. So what I mean by bulky is it's just thick. This grip is thick, made for like a nice big hand. The center part of this riser here is a little bit thicker than we usually see. But obviously the durability and quality of this is top notch. And I'll just tell you right off the bat, it's gonna be the first aluminum riser that we've gotten in that's gonna get a 10 out of 10. The quality on this thing is unbelievable. Not to mention the craftsmanship. The craftsmanship that has gone into this is amazing. You got these wood inlays on the backside here, one on the grip, one on the riser. The honeycomb riser design is awesome. It's supposed to be, you know, that hexagon shape is supposed to be one of the strongest in nature. You got that same hexagon design here on the cams. From the cable guard to the limb pockets, I mean, everything is just top-notch quality and durability. I mean, the best you can get. The string stop, every part of this bow, you know, and really what you see online when you look at the reviews on this thing, you know, you'll see people saying, hey, I bought mine 8 years ago and I haven't put it down since. I bought mine 6 years ago and I never felt the need to buy another bow. So yeah, I think that, you know, it will be on Mathews' website as is for the rest of time. I mean, I don't think they're gonna change one thing on this. This is gonna be their timeless bow that we'll see year after year, and for good reason. And I also thought kind of growing up, like, man, this is a bow that is meant for a kind of a safari hunt. And maybe that's what they originally designed it for, but what I've seen more and more is just any big game, anywhere, guys put this thing in use, and everybody across the board says the same thing. The quality and durability is amazing. For such a fast shooting bow, it's very smooth. It's kind of the complete package. It is over $2,000, which is a lot of money, but I think it's an investment. And if you know what you know what you like, and for the majority of the time, when you do put your money into something, you're gonna get a return back. And this thing holds its value better than any other bow I've seen. So if you get online now, you want to buy a used Safari, they're gonna try and sell it to you for almost $2,000. You know, no matter where you find it. And one, you can't really find them that much online. So people who are buying them, they just want to keep them. Same with me, I'll keep this thing forever probably. But you can always go back to Mathews and purchase a brand new bow. So let's start with the ABS cam systems. You know, you got to order the thing directly to your draw weight, your draw length, and your let off. So you have the let off option of 65 and 80. You have a draw weight option of 70 and 85. And then you have your draw length, which goes from 25.5 up to 31. And you just kind of get your mods set exactly for what you're wanting. So today we got to keep it in that speed test range, I ordered the 29.5 mods, 80%, which will vary a little bit from what we've been doing, and then 70 pounds. So I was hesitant to go with the 85 pounds just because I was really wanting to see, one, how easy that would draw back, what kind of speeds it would get. But I think I could potentially use this thing in the future, and I think 70 pounds is gonna, you know, be perfect for me and be plenty to get the job done on what I'm planning on using it for. So, and then the only other thing is I did order another set of the same mods, but 30 inches. I wanted to get the 29.5 for the speed test, but I also wanted to get the 30 because sometimes, you know, depending on a bow, I'll shoot 29.5 or 30. So I ordered both. Kind of an investment for me since I'm planning on having this for a long time. And then if I ever did resell it, it'd be nice to kind of give somebody that little bit of fluctuation with having those different mods. Okay, so limb pockets, solid metal. If you look up underneath, there's a little bolted indentation right above the riser that will keep them in place. Everything is of the highest grade. You got a couple little dampeners, top and bottom, like we see on Mathews. They have a little bit, you know, instead of them little monkey tails that you see, they have these ones on the strings. The thing is super clean. This is probably the most solid cable guard I've seen across the board. The string stop too, all metal, nice and solid. You got your one place for your stabilizer here in front. You got two holes in here for your rest. The look of the riser, honestly, it kind of, to me, the first thing I thought was that it was like a Creed on steroids. So it has that same look and size that the Creed has. But again, this thing is just souped up, just beefed up on, you know, on every front. So let's get to shooting. What we did today is that we waited, it's 99 degrees outside. So I like to kind of set up scenarios that I think this thing was meant to be shot in. So safari scenario outside, 99 degrees. I'm gonna try to put as many arrows as I can through this thing all day. Man, love this bow. Today is the most expensive bow we've done. Next week, we're gonna do the Carnage, which is one of the least expensive bows at like $150 compared to $2,100. And we're gonna do them back to back so we can kind of see the difference in both bows. But let's do our single shot assessment. And then we'll get outside and we'll shoot as much as we can. So I've been kind of practicing in the heat, shooting my bow every day. So it shouldn't be that bad. We got a couple shaded spots that we like to shoot from. But man, this thing, so again, the grip on this is awesome. It has this little indentation on the back side. It's a little thick. The width-wise is a little thick. It has this really cool wood inlay on here that says Mathews that you see on some of those. And then it also has one up here on the riser that says Safari. I love the detail. This bow is just Mathews in a nutshell. It just screams craftsmanship, detail. It's awesome. It's awesome. So another thing that you notice right off the bat is it's really top heavy. Again, this riser, it says 4.8 pounds. You know, it was actually a little bit above, so it's closer to 5 pounds, but it's a solid bow. It's nice and heavy. Some guys like that, some guys don't. I think, you know, if you're carrying this thing through the heated safari, it could get heavy. You know, it could. It's up there with the weight and how it feels in your hands. But the top, it's very top heavy. But we'll see when we draw it back. Sometimes that kind of smooths out. So, man, you know how I've said it before, but some bows you can just kind of tell that they're firing. The Levitate by PSC, man, the last bow that we did, the Prime Inline, some bows just shooting it, that shot cycle, you can tell that they're really pumping an arrow, and that's kind of what you get from this. This thing, you know, is a hammer. Fairly smooth on the draw cycle. It balances nice. The draw cycle, it's a little tough to get back, especially right off of the start. smooths out a little bit, and then there's a little second peak of draw weight towards the end where a little hump you got to get over. But smoother than I was anticipating. It does balance nice and it holds nice. A little bit of vibration. You got this big metal kind of clunky grip here. It has a little bit of vibration to it for sure. You can kind of man, maybe we'll do the chronograph and we'll do the speed test before we even get outside, because I'm kind of eager to see what this thing is going to get. I think it's going to be up there, and I think it could be the third bow that pumps over 290. We'll see. Has a nice solid back wall. That second little hump you feel, once you get past it, it lets off and it kind of sits in there real nice. But again, when we get the bows that claim speeds up to 350, that's when you kind of start tampering with that draw cycle. We always talk about the give and take. You know, you can't get such high speeds without giving somewhere, and you can really feel it in the draw cycle that this thing is going to sling an arrow. Let's shoot one more. I love the hold. The hold's nice once it sets up. Let me set up this chronograph. We're gonna do that first and then we'll jump outside. So we're gonna do things a little different. I'm kind of excited just to see what this gets. So we're gonna run an arrow through here. We'll run a couple through and we'll kind of see what speeds this is gonna get. So same thing, we got these cams. 70 pounds, 29.5. The only thing that varies a little bit is the let off, which we also have kind of showed examples of how let off, especially 5% let off, it's not really going to vary those speeds, but that's just something that I'll mention that is a little different. So it's 80% let off. Let's run a couple through and we'll see. Oh my God. So that says 301. Jesus. And again, you can always kind of tell. So this is the same arrow, 500 grains. And again, every time a bow surprises me, I always go back and check everything to make sure everything's the exact same. 29.5, 70 pounds, 80% let off, 500 grain arrow. That's 301. So fastest bow we've gotten in here yet. Monster Safari. 302. So we're consistent and we are up there. That's awesome. So again, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, it's gonna get a 10 out of 10 for the quality. It's gonna get now a 12 out of 10 for the speed. So we're off to a good start. That one says 313. So not only is this the fastest bow we've gotten in here, but it's separating itself from the others, you know, pretty good. So let's shoot one more because that was a little bit jumpy. So we'll kind of shoot a fourth one just to make sure. 297. So I think that last one, maybe a hair jumpy, potentially the chronograph. So we got 301, 302, and 297. So I'm gonna say right around that 300 range. And you know me, how I like to do things. We'll shoot one final one. 302. Man, that is incredible. And I'm not gonna lie, from the very first shot to the last one, you could feel it. This thing is a powerful bow. I can't imagine what 85 pounds, how much more that increases that arrow. All right, so as I mentioned, it's high at 99. It's not 99 right now, but high at 99 today. We waited for this day to do the safari for obvious reasons. So if there's a bow that should be able to perform in such high heats, I'm assuming it's this one. We'll start up here like we do. We got a turkey, boar, buck, 20, 25, 30. we'll jump over there, do some longer range shots. Man, I've been, like I said earlier, I always wanted to get my hands on one of these. I almost had a used one shipped to me, and the last minute the guy backed out. And I feel like that's what you get when it comes to these. If you want one, you might as well just go buy one brand new, because even the used ones, they're still trying to get $18, $19, $2,000 out of you, and they're just few and far between. And every time they go, you know, one comes on sale, it either goes really quickly, or the guy's not really looking to sell it. He's just kind of, you know, seeing if there's anybody interested. So let's go ahead and sling some. Man, this thing, we just did the speed test. It's over 300. First bow to get anywhere close to 300, and man, it really distances itself from the other bows, but this thing is just packing a punch. The entire draw, you can feel that it's loading up heavy. It's smooth, you know, but it is tough to get back. I mean, it takes a good pull, and it kind of has two peaks. Like in the beginning, it's real tough, and then right towards the end, it hits you again. But once you get it back, it does set up real nice. It holds nice. But even in full draw, you can tell that it's just ready to let one go. The only other thing is, man, it really does have some vibration, and it has a thud. So I was out here sighting it in a little bit ago, and you could really tell just how kind of loud it was while I was sighting it in. But man, this thing is just, I love the grip. At the beginning, it kind of felt bulky, but the more you shoot it, it kind of has this back little indentation for kind of your hands while you're carrying it. But it just feels really, really good. The whole bow, like I mentioned, it's the most solid bow you can get. And then on top of it, you got incredible craftsmanship. But the bow's quality is just unbelievable. Let's put one on the buck. Man. So something else I noticed while I was sighting it in, I was, you know, minorly adjusting my 20-yard pin for my 20-yard shots, 30-yard shots, and even the 40-yard shots. I was still just using the 20-yard pin, just making little minor adjustments, because man, this thing is just humming. Those arrows don't drop at all. Incredible. All right, let's get over there. We'll shoot some longer distance. So I think I'm gonna keep this sprinkler on all day while I'm shooting. When I go get my arrows, I can get cooled down a little bit. Because man, it doesn't feel like bow hunting or archery to me when it's this hot. I love late season bow hunting. You know, I love when it's 6 degrees, 16 degrees, when you get up and hunt those mornings, man, that's like my favorite. And that's what I think of when I think of, you know, hunting whitetail. So out here in almost 100 degrees, pulling back this bow that's heavy with a hard draw, you know, it's a lot. But like I mentioned, we wanted to assimilate that safari style hunt. But man, it's not what I'm used to, and definitely not what is comfortable to me. So we'll shoot some of these longer range ones. We'll put as many arrows as we can through it today, and then we'll sit down this evening when it's nice and cool and give it a grade. But let's go buck, broadhead buck, which is at 30. I think, you know, this heavy kind of teetering that you feel when you're just holding it, that definitely goes away in full draw, but it's even still kind of there. So it's just a real heavy on the top end here. And obviously this, you know, this metal that they make out of the riser, I mean, there's a lot going on to this riser all the way down. There's tons of metal throughout this thing. So it's nice and heavy, has a nice, You know, nice heavy feeling to the top side. You know, so you get these guys that are like, man, this is the smoothest, you know, drawing fast bow. You know, every review online is amazing about this thing, and I don't have any complaints. But after drawing back so many of these bows over these past couple months, you realize that this doesn't have necessarily a smooth draw at all. It's nice, especially for the speeds that we just saw it get inside. That's incredible. So again, we got that little give and take. I love those speeds, especially when you're hunting large game, anything on a safari type hunt where you're gonna have to get some good penetration. Obviously, that's what this is made for. That's why it has the 85-pound draw weight option, which you know, looking back at the first Talking Points video, it sounded like when I was mentioning the mods that was the draw weight was included, but you have a 70-pound option, so it's a limb, the 70-pound limbs, 85-pound limbs. Then you can switch the let off from 65 to 80 and your draw length with the mods. But that's why they have that 85-pound option, is to really get some of that penetration. So let's go black bear. Man, this, you know, and I think I'm assumed that people who are purchasing this bow, obviously it's so expensive, somebody who has enough money to go on a safari type hunt, but the more and more I looked online, the more I saw that guys were using these on a mountainside, hunting whitetail, elk, moose. I mean, using it for everything. And most of them, like I said, had zero complaints, had the bow for years, with the quality, thought that they never had to buy another bow again, which I can see now that I have it in my hand. But people are using these for everything. So it's called the Safari, but man, this is just an exceptional bow all around. Let's go one more on the black bear. Unbelievable. The penetration these arrows are getting in these 3D targets is incredible. So all the first shots that we take on the 3D targets with a new bow are the ones that we're going to give you on camera. And just within that short amount of time, 10, 12 shots, you can tell I could wring out this shirt. By the end of the day, I'm gonna be shirtless if I keep shooting. We'll jump up, we'll do a couple here on the 40 or the 50 elk up top of the hill. You know, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but you know, a 4-pound bow to a 5-pound bow, it's not much of a difference in a bow shop, just hand. You shoot all day with it, that's when you start to notice that makes a big difference. Same with a really effortless draw cycle to one that's a little stiffer. Shoot a couple times in a bow shop, you probably won't know much of a difference, but man, you shoot all day with it, that's when it starts to really you know, stick out a little bit more. So let's go up to the elk. I'll tell you what, this thing is a blast to shoot. I love watching these arrows come off of this thing. I mean, they are, I wish I could get a side visual. I feel like there's no arc to them. I mean, they just are missiles. Incredible. Even that elk at 50 yards, these arrows are just sinking in there. Like I mentioned, I wonder what the 85-pound, you know, what the difference is in that draw or in that speed test. I mean, with a 500, 550 grade arrow at 50 or at 85-pound draw weight, devastating, absolutely devastating. Awesome. So we're gonna shut it off. We'll do some shooting. We'll sit down later. We'll give it a grade. We'll circle back. All right. So I had to change my shirt after that one. I mean, I don't think I've ever sweated that much shooting a bow, but I did my best to put as many arrows as we could through it. You know, I shot it, took some breaks, shot it again, took some breaks. It was steamy out there, and as the day progressed, it was harder and harder to keep shooting. But I think I shot it enough to give it a good grade here at the end. So obviously, we already discussed this, 302 for the speed, fastest bow we've gotten here yet, significantly faster, 70 pounds, 29 and a half, 80% let off with a 500 grain arrow, 302, it gets the 12 out of 10, good start. Also, first bow, aluminum riser, you know, not a carbon bow, that we're gonna go ahead and give the 10 out of 10 for quality. From the cable guard to the string stop to the limb pockets, cams, the honeycomb technology, the riser, you cannot get more solid than this bow. I don't think I've ever had a bow in my hands that felt more durable and solid. So 10 out of 10 there. Appeal, I also gave it a 10 out of 10. To me, this is my perfect bow. I love the way this thing looks. I've mentioned it before, but Mathews does an unbelievable job craftsman-wise, the detail that they put into things. I just love this thing from top to bottom. Technology, we gave it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, without the honeycomb, you know, patented honeycomb riser and cams, it probably would have got more of a 7. You know, you got to switch every time you want to switch your draw length, let off. You got to switch your mods. You know, other than the honeycomb riser, it's a pretty basic on the technology side for what we're seeing in today. But because of the honeycomb, we gave it an 8 out of 10. And then also for performance, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I love the way it shot once it was set up and how it held. It had a little bit too much weight towards the front end for me, for my preference. The draw cycle, as much as you read online, and that's why I always like to get bows in here in my own hands and kind of give things my first-hand perspective, because I read time and time again, smoothest draw for such a high-speed bow. And again, maybe 85 pounds. If the draw was similar to this, I mean, that's pretty impressive that they could get, you know, that much draw weight with the smoothness that it does get. But to me, after shooting so many of these bows, especially the ones that we've done recently, I would not say the draw was smooth by any means. It transitioned well, but it was pretty rough from the beginning to the end. A lot of vibration in the hand, really loud, okay? Again, those don't factor in as much as so none of those things factor in to the success of your hunt a ton, to me. I think the bow, it was really fun to shoot. I just loved having this thing in my hands all day. Absolutely incredible. I don't think Mathews even should change anything. I think this is a bow, especially for what I think it was originally made for, kind of that really, really big game, something that brings the kinetic energy, super durable for those crazy conditions. Fantastic bow. So it doesn't get any makeup points being $2,100. Anything under 1,000, we give you 3 makeup points, 1,000 to 15, 2, 1,500 to 2,000, you get 1 extra point to make up. This thing was 2,100 MSRP, so it gets 0. So that gets a 48 out of 50, which gives it that 96 out of 100. Fantastic bow. This is one that will probably hang up somewhere in my office. I'll hunt with it occasionally, but I don't think I'm ever gonna let this thing go. I kind of understand why people hold on to them now after getting into my hands. Incredible bow. If you ever get a chance to shoot one, do it just for fun. If you haven't been following us on Instagram, we've had a couple giveaways. We still have one coming up for next weekend. So if you haven't gotten on there, follow us, like the post that we have about the giveaway, comment and tag 3 of your buddies, and you can get an entry to win a Bear Whitetail Legend Pro. That'll be the second bow that we've given away. Obviously, follow us on YouTube. We got lots more to come. Bows, we got a basic bowman series coming out for anybody who is beginning and kind of wants to get their feet wet, taking those first steps, purchasing their first bow. It'll kind of direct you through that process. I love this series. I think it'll be timeless, and I think it'll be helpful for lots of people getting going. And then, as always, make sure you get your reps in on the daily. Don't buy a bow off a single bow review. Get into a bow shop, get as many bows in your hands as you can, and we will see you next Saturday.